And we're going. Yay. Hi everyone, it's Celine. I wanted to make a video today on something that I recently experienced that I didn't really see a ton of videos on. So I thought it'd be cool to kind of just put my experience out there for having laser eye surgery. It's pretty wild. I mean, like, doing it was kind of intimidating, because they're putting lasers in your eyes. But overall, I feel like it was pretty easy to get everything done. So I have kind of like four chapters, or not chapters, but like sections, if you will. So there's essentially the consultation, uh, the day of surgery, or like surgery prep, because those happen like so quickly between each other, the consultation and then the day of surgery, the actual surgery, and then what my recovery process was like. Um, so I'll get going on that. So the consultation, I went through the Laser Eye Center. I think there's quite a few different, businesses or companies that you can go through. I went through them. They're pretty predominant, I think, in the Los Angeles area, which is where I was at this time. And I recently relocated, so it was kind of a weird process. But I did the consultation, which was free, and it was more to see like, hey, are you an actual like candidate for this kind of surgery? Like, will your eyes handle it? Will it be okay? They did general like eye scans. If you've ever gone to an optometrist where they like have you look into that little like machine with like the hot air balloon, right? And they're like, oh, you look at this, yada yada yada. They did like eye scans, just stuff to like really look at the health of my eye, and they were really nice, kind of walking me through the whole process, what it's like. So we started with that to make sure that I was eligible, and I think they also dilated my eyes so that they can see like in the back of the eye, which is what I think that's for. So my sister actually, was it my sister? No, my aunt. My aunt drove me to the appointment because, once your eyes get dilated, it's pretty sensitive and you can't really drive. It's like you have to wear like the sunglasses. It's just not fun. So, ooh, sorry, my coffee. I hit my straw. So they dilated my eyes, which kind of sucks. I mean, I don't know if you've had that done before, but they kind of like just drop little eye drops, but they like sting for a little bit. And then your eyes get really sensitive and they look into it. So they actually turned off the lights for me in the exam room because it was just too much. So before they dilated my eyes, because that was like the last thing they did, because again, it's a pain to do, they actually showed me a video of the two different types of surgeries they offer. And I think there's more than two, but these are the two that they specialized in. So there's LASIK, which is like the kind of like the newest and best one, right? From what I understand. And there's something called PRK. I forget what they stand for, so if I remember when I edit, I will put up what they stand for. But they were kind of telling me the difference between LASIK and PRK in that video. And essentially, LASIK has a shorter recovery time because, and I don't know if it's a trigger warning if you're kind of sensitive towards like surgery talk, but I'll let you know right now. So essentially with LASIK is that the doctor like cuts a flap in your eye, which is kind of gross, and they kind of like lift the flap. The lasers get shot in, right? And then they like smooth it back over with like this kind of special sponge. And so like it is sealed in that way, and then you recover from that. And then with PRK, they make the incision, but they actually remove the flap entirely. So that part of your eye has to regrow, and they put like it's like a protective contact lens on top, so that your eye just isn't like totally exposed. And that one has a longer recovery time because part of your eye is growing back. And I think there's like different, or there were different eye drops you have to do. It's like a slightly different process. So they told me those were my two options, right? And the surgeon would review my eye information and let me know which one I should do. So it turns out that my left eye, I could do LASIK, that was fine. But on my right eye, I had a scar. Like there was a scar inside my eye, which I don't know how I got it. They speculate that it's from wearing contact lenses all the time, because I've been wearing contact lenses since I was like 15. So I've been wearing them a really long time. And if you get like an infection, or you like scratch yourself or you cut yourself, and maybe you don't realize that you can get a scar. So because I had that scar in my eye, where it was at, it would be where the surgeon would put the incision. So they couldn't do LASIK on this eye because it could lead to complications. So I would have to do PRK. So left eye was going to be LASIK, right eye was going to be PRK. I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to do it. Let's see what happens. Like, I know it's kind of weird because they're your eyes, and that's something like you want to be very, very careful with. But they had explained everything. It's not uncommon for some people to have to do LASIK in one eye and PRK in the other. So it's like, okay. So from the date of the surgery, the date of the consultation, I was able to schedule the surgery for a week after. That was how soon that they were going to be able to do it. I later had to reschedule because I was in the process of moving, so I just did it for another week out, essentially. And that gave me enough time because you have to not wear your contact lenses for at least 14 days before you can have the surgery, because your contact lenses alter the shape of your eye. So they want to make sure that it's your natural shape. So I scheduled it, and then I just had to wait, essentially. So I was pretty nervous. I've never had like any type of eye surgery before, so I was a little nervous. But they've done the surgery like so many times, and high success rate, all that. I felt pretty confident in their capability. Hold on, I need a little coffee drink. So the actual day of the surgery, my sister drove me to get the surgery done, because again, you're not going to be able to drive. So you have to have someone drive you. They actually ask for their license or their name or whatever, so they can verify. So we got there at 9 a.m. I want to say was when I was scheduled to be there for my appointment. And they had to, again, do more scans, double check everything. I also got something, I think it's called Contura or something like that, where they do a topography of your eyeball, and it's supposed to help with the surgery having even better results, better clarity, better vision, which I was very fortunate and it did work. So I had to get that scan done again. And then I had to pay for everything. So pay for my eye drops that I was going to need, pay for the surgery, get everything situated for what I was going to do. And that process took maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. It took quite some time, that whole getting everything set up. I also had to read through a stack of liability waivers, which was not always read, before you sign anything. It was making me a little anxious, going with anything, there's risk of blindness or risk of dry eye syndrome, risk of death. It was just all these things. And I was well, I really hope that doesn't happen. They said, again, the odds are so low, but it's not fun to kind of read through all the risk, right? And so I actually had to read through it twice, because they had different liabilities for LASIK versus PRK. So that in itself took 20 minutes. There was a lot of paper to go through. So I signed that. And then finally, once I gave that to them, they kind of took me to a prep room. And one of the nurses, she helped me. She was very nice. She was giving me instructions, and I was writing them down on my phone so I wouldn't forget them, of things you can't do after surgery. And I took pictures. If I can, I'll put them up. But it's essentially absolutely no rubbing your eye whatsoever. You cannot touch your eyes. No water in the eyes. No swimming. Take your eye drops. They were very specific. You have to do these things. And of course, I'm gonna do them, right? I'm not gonna mess that up. I was I need to take care of my eyes. And they gave me a sedative, not to knock me out, but to relax me. And they kind of gave me the option. They're do you want the sedative? I was yes, yeah, yes, absolutely, I want the sedative. I'm not doing this without the sedative, because I was starting to feel a little anxious. And that kicked in pretty quick because they gave it to me. And then she started like going through the process of like kind of wiping my eyes down with like a cotton. I don't know if it was a cotton pad, but she was like, she had me close my eyes, and then she was like cleaning around, you know, my eye area and my eyelashes. And then they put like one of those, like, it's not a hair net, but you know, like if you're gonna go into surgery, you have that thing, and so you don't have your hair all over the place, right? So she helped me put that in there. And seriously, by this time, I was like kind of not really out of it, but I was like loosey goosey, and I was like, oh, okay, like I'm vibing. So we went to the we went to the surgery room, and they had me lay down on like kind of like, it was just like something you see in a doctor's office type thing, but it like moves around. Not really a gurney, but something similar to that, right? And so I laid down, and I was just hanging out. Like I had my eyes closed, like I was ready to fall asleep. And they were like talking to me, and I don't remember what we were talking about, but they were moving fast. They were like, "This is what we're doing." I do remember that. Like I know that there was some small talk, but I don't really recall that. I remember them saying like, "Okay, like look up. We're gonna put this, like you're gonna feel light pressure because they put this thing in your eye so that you don't blink." And it didn't hurt or anything. It felt strange. It was like a little bit of pressure. But they had that there so you don't blink. And they put drops in my eyes, and I think those were the numbing drops so you don't feel anything. And then they got to work. The whole process was probably like 10-15 minutes, which is kind of funny because the prep was like 2 hours, and then the actual surgery was 10-15 minutes. And I remember it like visually going through like the process of them like kind of like making the incisions and whatnot. It just felt like a pressure, like a light pressure. And then it was more, I compare it to like a visual, like a light show, like things got really blurry. You know, sometimes when you rub your eyes and you see kind of like those, like stars or sparkles, it kind of looked like that. And it was like gray, and it was just like, it was like looking in a kaleidoscope almost. Like you couldn't see, but you could kind of see stuff moving. And I was trying to stay super still because they're like, you cannot move. So I'm like laying there, and I have like my hands clasped like on my stomach. And I remember one of the nurses, he was like, can you flex your hands for me? And I was like flexing my hands. He's like, okay. He's like, I just want to make sure you're good. And I was like, no, yeah, I'm fine. I just like don't want to move. Like the surgeon said, do not move. So I'm not moving. And I remember, I think they were playing like 80s music, and I don't remember what song it was, but I remember being like, oh, this is 80s music. So I guess that's what the surgeon likes to listen to, which is great. I'm glad he actually had music, because if it had been like just dead quiet, I would have had a hard time. I need music to like do stuff. So that was kind of comforting to like hear the music and hear like the nurses talking to each other and instructing, you know, what they need to do. I want to make sure I actually hit start recording. I did. Okay. I got really scared for a second. I was like, have I just been talking and not recording? Good God. Okay. Okay. So we're getting the surgery done. And again, like I couldn't close my eyes. So you're just kind of like looking up, and there was like this machine, and there was 3 lights in the machine. So there's 2 on each side and then 1 green light in the middle. And essentially the surgeon said, just look at the green light. Not the red ones, look at the green light and keep looking at it. Don't stop looking at it. And so I was like, okay, cool. And apparently like the machine itself, like once you do that, it locks on your eye. So even if I had like looked around, like it would have moved. But I was looking at the green light. I was like, I'm not going to look at anything else except this green light. And then it kind of made some like whirring sounds, like it was doing stuff. And again, I couldn't feel anything, but it's kind of weird and it's kind of gross. But you could smell the burning, yeah. And it was just because again the laser's going in your eye, and you can like smell it, and it was just a weird smell. It smelled like kind of like burning plastic. Like it didn't smell like gross, but it smelled like something was burning, and I was like, ew, like don't think about it. And so they did that eye, and then again they did this eye. This one, again, same thing, except they just took the flap off. Oh, I should have asked if I could have seen the flap. I don't know if that would have been gross, or if they would have let me, but I totally didn't even think about asking, because they took it out. Dang, I should have asked. But again, same thing, look at the green light. You know, the lasers go a couple seconds. It's not very long. And after that, that was it. I was done. They were like, okay, you're good to go. Good job. You know, it was, which is great. I was like, thank you for telling me I did a good job. I just was just laying there. But yeah, that was it. And then like literally right after that, I could see clearly. It was insane to just like sit up and then everything's clear. Which was incredible. But again, but actually before I sat up, he put like the protective contact lens in while I was still laying down. And then I sat up, I could see, and they put these like, this like protective covering over my eyes. They weren't sunglasses, they put those on top, but it was like plastic, and it was like curved, and it had little holes in it. So I mean, I could see through it, but it was more so I don't like accidentally bump my eyes. So they put those on, and they're like, okay, where's your sister? They like walked me out to the lobby, and I was like, hello, sister. And she helped me walk to the car. Before that, we set up, a follow-up for the next day, because they want to see how your eyes are doing the day after, right? They want to see like once you go to sleep, right? And you sleep and you wake up, they want to see what your eyes look like. So the appointment was at like 7 a.m. It was really early. So we went to that to make sure my eyes were okay the following day. But once I got out of the appointment, my sister was there. She helped me with my baggies, because they had like baggies of eye drops I needed to take. And we got in the car. We were on our way home. I was dozing for sure. I was like falling asleep. Apparently, we were listening to music, and my sister told me, and this is for my sister, okay? I was kind of out of it, so I can't verify this, but this is my sister's testimony. She said we were listening to Doja Cat, and the song Moo came on, which I like that song. I think it's really funny. It's got like a good beat to it. But she said we were listening to Moo by Doja Cat, and she changed it. And I got really mad. And I was like, you need to put that song back. And she's like, okay. And then she put it back, and then I fell asleep again. I don't really recall this, but this is what my sister told me, so I'm trusting her. But yeah, so we got home. We did the eye drops, and then I immediately went to bed. And before I went to bed, though, we set a timer on my phone, because there were quite a few different sets of eye drops. And actually, I have them. Even though like most of them are empty, they're like these bad boys. And there's an additional type of eye drop that I don't have, because I don't need to use it anymore. But you have to take the like lubricating drops every hour, and then the set of drops I just showed you every 4 hours, or 4 times a day essentially. So 8 a.m., 12 p.m., 4 p.m., 8 p.m. And so we had to set timers for those. And my sister would make sure, like, she would come into the room, and she's the real MVP, because she was helping me with the eye drops. Like, I was still really out of it, and so she would be there and like put the eye drops in my eyes. And the LASIK eye, honestly, recovery wasn't that bad. But I will be honest, the PRK eye, it really stung. It felt like, you know, if you ever get anything in your eye, like an eyelash or like anything, like, and it stings, and you want to rub it. That's what it felt like, and it sucked. It was, I will be completely honest. It's, if you have to get PRK done, know that it's like, I consider myself to have a pretty good pain tolerance. But that was like, to not rub my eye was very difficult. And I powered through it though, because I was like, I can't, like, I'll mess it up. I can't touch it. So that was kind of like the one thing, was the PRK eye really bothered me, to where I was like taking the pain medication that they gave me, and even then it didn't really help that much. Yeah, it sucked. Trying to think of what else we had. I mean, the left eye again healed much quicker. And I had to take it easy for like a couple days, I think, because of the PRK eye. Very sensitive to light. It just hurt. You know, I couldn't have like even like the light on. When I was in my room, light was off, windows closed, no screens, nada. Like, it was just really, really sensitive. And as the days went on, it got better. Like eventually I could like be in the living room where like there's a lot more lighting, and eventually I could go outside. Like they did give me like these blackout sunglasses, which helped. And eventually I could go and do stuff without that. So I would say it took maybe 4 or 5 days to really be able like to be fine to drive on my own because of the sensitivity of what I think is the PRK eye. LASIK eye, no issues, and that's pretty common. Like with LASIK, like it's the recovery time is so fast because you don't have like the flap is just back on; it didn't get removed. So the PRK eye, if you have to do PRK, process takes longer, and I kind of wish I could have done LASIK with both, but again, because of the scarring, that was my option. And I mean, all things considered, I got through it. It was only a couple days, and now I can see, which is incredible. I can't believe it, to be honest. So once the surgery is done for follow-up, right, you go back the next day, and then you also go back after a week to see how your eyes are doing. So when they checked my eye, when they checked my vision, I had, now I have, so I didn't have it before, but now I have 20/15 vision. So when that's phenomenal, because 20/20 is considered like really, really good. 20/15 is like your visual acuity. So whatever someone would see at 20 feet away, you see it at 15 feet. So your vision's better. Before that, I couldn't see, like, if I took my glasses off or my contacts off and I did that test where they have like the lines of letters, I couldn't see anything, no matter how big they put it up. They had to do like the finger test where they would say like, how many fingers do you see? And that I could see, but I couldn't see much without my glasses. Yeah, so it was cool. It was exciting to not need glasses anymore. I've had glasses since the 3rd grade. So a long time. And I started wearing contacts in high school. And I think that may have been when I got the scarring, because initially, because there's different types of contacts. The monthly contacts, I was either allergic or developed an allergy to where they would turn my eyes red, and it was painful. So I had to do the dailies, the Acuvue Oasis, and those work fine. But the issue there is that they're really freaking expensive, which is why the surgery makes sense for me, because I was spending a lot of money in contacts because, vision insurance only covers so much, and they would literally only cover like a month's supply, which was like, well, that's nothing. Like 1 month out of the year is what I get covered. Everything else is out of pocket. So it made sense for me to do the surgery because of the cost of contacts. But again, I think from that allergy, from the contacts, that could have been when I developed the scar. But again, I don't have any recollection of specifically having a painful instance. It was probably one of those things. Something that was kind of cool was, the process of donating my glasses. Because I had quite a few, just pairs of glasses. So I took them to my follow-up appointment. And they have like a box, it was like a box. And I donated them because I don't need them anymore, and I'm hoping that somebody else can use them, whether it's like the actual lenses or the frame, like whatever it is. I hope that it can be helpful to someone, because my prescription was like -4 point something and -3 point something. Like it was pretty high. So, I think it's nice that they like let you donate the glasses. That way they can go to someone else, because they were just going to sit in my room. And I think I actually left a pair of glasses with my sister, and she's like, oh, it's like a souvenir, it's like a relic, because now I won't need them. They did say there's a chance, like, as you get older and your eyes age, like 40, 50, 60, whatever, like you might need reading glasses, which is fine. But I don't need glasses to see anymore. And that's awesome. I've always been really jealous of like my friends who like wake up and you can just see, right? You don't need to put on glasses, you don't need to put on contacts. And now I'm one of those people, right? I wake up and I can see. And it's funny because like I'll still like go like this, or like I'm wearing my glasses and I'm not, and it's just like habitual. Like it's weird. I'll do it at really random times because my body was just so used to doing it for so long. But yeah, it's the last thing they told me is that your vision after the surgery will fluctuate for I think a couple months, maybe up to a year. And I do experience that. Like it's better now, but after the surgery and I was getting used to everything, like one eye would be blurry and the other one wouldn't. Like it would be like a slight blur, which was kind of irritating. And then it would kind of switch between eyes. So it was driving me nuts because I was like, ugh, like it was really kind of all over the place. Now it's much better, but there are days where it does still kind of fluctuate. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, it's been awesome. It's so cool. Like I know like a lot of people don't need contacts or need glasses, but as someone who's had them pretty much my whole life, to not need them is insane. It's really cool. If you're contemplating getting LASIK or laser eye surgery or whatever, to me, it's definitely worth it. It's incredible to not need glasses or contacts anymore, to not be paying for those anymore. Granted, surgery is like pricey, but most places have payment plans. That's what I'm doing. Because again, what I would be spending in contacts, it makes sense to just put it towards the surgery. But yeah, it's something I recommend. Just, ask the questions you want to ask, do the research, as far as doing research, the surgeon's going to tell you what you need to know, but it's good to kind of like look at your options is what I mean, as far as like looking into it. But yeah, I had a really great experience. I highly recommend it. It's a little nerve-wracking, but I think if you really want it, it's worth it. I don't think it was anything traumatic. I didn't feel like any pain or anything during the surgery. Again, I just think the PRK, like it stings, like the recovery time. And I would feel like that would be like the most prominent thing if you had to worry about anything, would just be like the recovery of like not touching your eye. Especially like the PRK, man. I remember like I was like in bed and I was like holding on to like the blanket and I was like, do not touch your eye. I was like, I want to touch my eye so bad. I want to rub it and I couldn't. But yeah, just as heads up. But yeah, I would say that was my experience having laser eye surgery. Life-changing. I can't believe it that I can see. I think science is incredible. Love it. But yeah, that was what it was like for me. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments, or comments I feel like is the best way to ask. And if there are questions, then I'll do my best to respond to them. But yeah, until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.